Hello everyone, this is Blender Guppy. Welcome to the Final Cutter version 2.0 Changelog video. So I've added a new property, which is the type, and we have two options here. One is the legacy or the inset type, and the new one, which is the bevel. So these are the way that you can create the final cut detail. So the old school, which is inset. Basically, you need to draw or select edges that you want as the final cut details, and then mark them as sharp, and then select the faces that cover or encompass this mark sharp edges. Then you can use the final cut inset type. There we go. So that's the old school. So inset is a direct copy of the random flow final cut method of the same type, and you can do a bunch of effects like raising the height. You can randomize it and clear faces and also outer. So these kinds of effects, which is built for creating uh, just the outer. Okay, oh, that's the inner inset. We have the outer inset here. Okay, so yeah, that's the old method, and the new one is the bevel. With this, you can just select edges you want as the panel cut detail, and then it will turn those edges into panel cut details. So let's get rid of the mark sharp edges, clear sharp, and you can just select the edges uh, you want as the panel cut detail. Then go to Final Cut and then press select bevel in the type property, and there you go. So with bevel, uh, bevel is purely destructive, which as inset you can choose to um, mark sharp. You can choose to select between non-destructive and destructive method. So if we use none here and set, okay, change the depth like that. You can merge the panel. So by default, this is a different object. You can use the merge panel toggle to make it destructive. Okay. So with bevel, there's no non-destructive option. This is purely a destructive process. But it is much more forward than using the inset method or type. So with the inset method, you can have a bunch of effects like randomly raised panel faces or island faces. But with bevel, this is just purely for panel cut effects or detail. So you can just click on that. You have the property width, which increases the width of the panel cut detail, and the offset, the depth, and the segment, or the amount of edges that make up the panel cut detail in the middle. Okay. You can also do split. See that? So it splits those border edges, which only has a single vert. So for example, we have it like this and like this, final cut, and then choose bevel type. So you have initially like that. Let's just fix the width and the offset. Okay, with split, you can of course bring this towards just the selected edges. So you can see that this is the selected edges, and the end of the panel cut detail kind of goes into these two faces here. So we can avoid that using split. Split as increase the, if you increase the you can even do it like that. So if you increase the amount of the split, so you can isolate the panel cut detail just in the selected edges. And you can also combo it, use or combine it with the merge property. Bring it closer like that. So the vert here, or the border or boundary verts that make up the panel cut detail, the boundary verts meaning that these are the boundary verts, and what's the verts inside are not the boundary verts. So just the outside margin, and it's okay. Repeat that, and then you can combine it with merge. With merge, you can see it in the description. Merge distance of boundary vertices to the nearest outside vertices. So if you increase this, it will merge the boundary verts to the nearest verts uh, of the rest of the mesh. So you can see it there. You can see it that it merged, and it will show you the amount of vertices that have been merged. So 8 vertices. So 1, 2, here, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7, 8. Okay, panel cut. Then you can have, then you can just repeat the process with the properties now set up for your own settings. And like I said, the merge property, if you increase this to a higher value, it will eventually merge the boundary verts to the faraway vertices. Like that. So this method is only reserved for this vert here. Okay. So just like that. We also have, if we establish the mirror, so let's say we have a mirror for this object, and let's subdivide. So if you want to cut like that and use bevel, okay, you notice that we have selected the edges in the symmetry line, but it doesn't cut. Okay, so in order to cut the symmetry line, we have to select the cut symmetry toggle, or enable the cut symmetry toggle, like that. And there are also instances which the panel cut detail might not appear, but let's set the split to 0, bevel, and then the split is 0. Okay. So with a split in value, in the value of 0, if you use this on something like this, you can see this edges here, and it ends with a face that is an ingon, and also here, these edges or verts terminate on or connects to a face that is an ingon. So if we select this edges here and use the panel cut bevel, okay, let's get rid of this to demonstrate the extreme output of what this topology can do. Okay, panel cut bevel. So you can see there's no offset, okay, because of they're connected to an ingon. So to remedy this, just increase the split. Just increase the split property like that. There we go. And it's the same with this one. Final cut bevel. And let's reduce the split to 0. So you can see that these are properly offsetted, but vertices in this area, which connects this income face, does not, they are straight. So in order to counter that, we need to just increase the split value of property. And it also avoids this triangle configuration of overlapping the next set of faces. So F9, bring back the control panel and increase the split, and there you go. So you can see the effect of the merge property right there. Because of the distance, it automatically snaps to the nearest vert like that. And you can, of course, set it like this. So the only caveat is that with this method, you have an ingun here, but you can easily just, of course, after you finish your model, this is easily repairable by just adding in a few um, edges like that. Okay, you can quantify it like this, or you can just let it flood the next set of faces by setting the split. Okay, 0 like that, and then subdivide these edges, and then Control T, Alt J. Okay, that's more like that. So let's just manually connect them. So this is just an example of quantifying this if you want to quantify it. Or the next best, probably the best method is if you don't want this to be geometry detail, after you have used the add-on or the panel cutter add-on for detailing your model with the panel cut details, you can just, of course, bake the result, okay, using the geometry or the mesh that doesn't have the panel cut details, okay? So they're going to be normal information instead of just geometry. Okay, so let's try and just use the new, this is actually cool, the new feature, which is the bevel bevel panel cutter type. Okay, like that, and we can choose to not um, cut the symmetry line. So use it here. Select these edges and also these edges here, and bevel. Panel cut. There we go. Let's try and split this. Okay. Oops. Center line is also split. Okay. Let's probably not um, do the splits and just manually bring it down like that. Okay. Cutting this wire, I mean these edges. Okay, we don't want to split this. We want it to connect here. You can see merge two vertices as long as you're using the merge property. Draw another tiny square here, and then bevel, decrease the width. So something like that. You can also raise this using Alt S. You can also raise isolated parts from the result of the bevel. Link flat faces, you can do that, or you can, of course, bring it down like that. So the last one, draw cuts, and I'm not gonna need this edges here. Okay, let's try and use Final Cut. There we go. And increase the offset. Width, I mean, not the offset. Okay, so there you go. So it's much easier than using um, inset, but so you can see no selected faces and or mark sharp edges. So from before, because it's only using inset as the type, it doesn't continue. The operation doesn't continue if you use inset. If you're just selecting the edges and not the mark sharp edges and the faces using the inset process. So if you select this, you the script will still operate, but it will not stop the script um, at all, and it will just show you that no selected faces or mark sharp edges. So you can bring up F9 again and then select bevel, and we can split the end. There we go, which is kind of problematic here, but yeah. Okay, let's try and maybe we can use the split cut symmetry. There we go. So it gets rid of the split right here. If you just toggle on split, I mean cut symmetry. There you go. And test it here. Bevel, cut symmetry. Hmm. Oh yeah, cut symmetry. Okay, so there you have it. The Final Cut version 2.0 update, which adds the bevel type. Yeah, the bevel type property for you to create, which is another way of creating the Final Cut details. So somebody emailed me about this, which they said that the inset creates raised geometry. It does create raised geometry because it comes from random flow. So if I mark sharp these edges and select these faces, then use inset, it does create raised geometry to create the effect of the panel cut detail. And this can also be used for other effects because of the other options here. There we go. You can randomize it. So I'll create another tutorial for the inset and how to use them, how to use it for different effects. Okay. So yeah, that's the inset. That's the race detail and color sharp. So now that we have the bevel type, which is a destructive method, but it doesn't create race geometry. It just uses the current geometry, but the process is destructive. So you have to find ways of really optimizing this workflow. Okay, so that is it. And if you have any questions, be sure to use the comment sections or the links in the description. Thank you for watching and have a nice day.